China's AI model Deepseek has turned the global AI race on its head, outperforming giants like OpenAI and Google at a fraction of the cost. Could this signal a shift in technological power? In this video, we'll uncover how Deepseek has shaken Silicon Valley, the secrets behind its unprecedented success, and what this means for the future of AI innovation and global dominance. Deepseek is a newcomer into the AI game, and they're basically showing up with a huge bang, okay? So their reasoning model, their AI is competing with OpenAI, with Gemini, and even with Claude in terms of what it can do, and it's doing it at a fraction of the cost, okay? And when I say fraction of the cost, I mean if you're using the API, you can use the app for free, so you can get the same capabilities you can right now from ChatGPT, where you're paying $20 a month to access their top model, okay? So it's kind of a huge breakthrough. It's just happened this week, and it's Monday right now, and stocks are crashing that relate to AI capabilities and the semiconductor chips and stuff that go into it, because what Deepseek has done is like pretty revolutionary, and they're doing it in a new and revolutionary way that's a little cheaper, and it's not using nearly as much power and bandwidth and everything. I put together a couple of things here, but basically what Deepseek is doing is kind of like when we moved from the computer over to having all the same computing power in the palm of your hand with a phone, okay? It's not that what OpenAI has done with ChatGPT and the O1 models is a problem or is bad, but it's just costed a lot of money, and it takes a ton of resource and power to get the reasoning to where they've gotten it to. And Deepseek has basically done the same thing, and they've done it in a much smaller model, and they've done it for 1/10 of the GPU usage, which is what's saving tons of energy and costs, okay? So this is kind of like one of those revolutionary steps forward that in 2025, others are going to be adopting this same kind of technology, including OpenAI and Gemini and Llama and Claude and Anthropic, okay? So what they've done at Deepseek is successfully trained their model using just 50,000 GPUs. Just to put that into perspective, that's 1/10, like I said, of what OpenAI used. And they've done it for less than $6 million compared to an estimated over 100 million. Now, what's really significant here is that they've actually open sourced the model, all right? So OpenAI's model is a little bit like, so if we go back over here and you think about Microsoft kind of back in the day and how they kind of dominated the PC, and it was like, if you didn't use Windows, then you use some crappy other program. ChatGPT is totally private. It's like their own thing. And if you want to use it, you basically have to give all your data to them, right? And even though Deepseek is a Chinese company, and a lot of people are worried about the fact that, oh, like China's going to have our data or that kind of thing. And this is something that a lot of people haven't talked about yet. But they've open sourced the model, and I'll show you what license here in just a second. But what that means is companies anywhere in the world can actually bring in the Deepseek technology, the AI technology, in-house, right? They can make it their own based on this open source core. So that means they can control the data, right? Like you don't have to send everything to OpenAI. They can actually implement this model, load it up with all their data, and keep it inside of their own data centers and stuff like that. So this is where it gets really revolutionary. They've done it using something called reinforcement learning. And so this is that step forward where I know AI in the past 10 years has played around with this a little bit. And sometimes what's happened is when you let AI start teaching itself, what it does is, or what it's done in the past is like completely eliminate use of the language, and it doesn't even want to talk to humans anymore because they're like, the language we use is so inefficient, and then they create their own language and teach themselves, and it just goes off on a tangent. Well, they've been trying to work on that, right? Because we want to balance keeping control of it as humans, the AI, but also accelerating the pace and lessening the cost of the training, right? And so that's something that Deepseek has done. And they use this thing called reinforcement learning, where it kind of teaches itself based on the outcomes that it's achieving. Okay, so just a little less involvement from the people and the machines to train it, essentially. So, and they've made it all publicly accessible. So this just came out early in January, right? So this R1 release is out there. It's on par with OpenAI's O1, right? And so what does that mean? Well, the reasoning has gone with the O1 models has gone from kind of like an 8th grade sophistication to like college level. Okay, so as far as what it knows now, even when it was at 8th grade, it was still like amazing, right? And a lot of us still use that 8th grade model in most of the stuff that we use online. But the O1 model is like, you know, crazy with reasoning. And so for Deepseek to achieve all of that in 1/10 of the cost and with a lot less resources is astounding, right? So, and it's open source, like I said. And the way they've done this is basically made the API access a lot cheaper. So, you know, in case you didn't know, like OpenAI, Gemini, Claude, these power like every tool pretty much that you use that's AI enabled across the internet and across the world. Okay, so even though you may be using a tool that's called something completely different, like Jetta AI, the whiteboard thing or something like that, it's like the AI stuff, the capabilities that they have are all sourcing back to the APIs from OpenAI, Gemini, and Claude, okay? And so now Deepseek has done that, and because they're doing it so much less expensively, the benefit to us is that, you know, we're not gonna have to pay $200 a month for Sora, the video creator in OpenAI, right? The reason that is so expensive is because it takes so much power and it's taken so much to get it to that point. As far as expense, well, these guys are doing it for, you know, fraction of pennies compared to what OpenAI are. So that just means, hopefully for us, the costs come down as far as some of the really sophisticated capabilities. Now let's take a quick look here at one of the charts from Deepseek that just shows some of the different tests they put it through. And each of these bars is basically like a different AI model that they compared to. But I just want to show you here, Deepseek is basically these bright blue lines, and you can see they're right up on par, if not better, or right at the top with all the OpenAI, with all the AI models out there, right, on all these tests. So this is what's amazing. OpenAI's O1 model is the gray, right? So this is the smartest that's out there, okay? And so that's what that looks like. And now as far as like Deepseek's licensing goes, so what does this mean for businesses and us in the future as far as people sort of implementing this and using it in cool new ways? Well, they've open sourced it, so it's not closed. It's not like they haven't taken like the Microsoft model with Office, right? Where everything was closed and like you either had Excel or you didn't, but like unless you paid for the license, you couldn't use it, right? Well, Google and others came along with like Docs and open Docs and stuff like that, where it was like free and you could do all the same things, right? And that's kind of what Deepseek has done here is they've made an AI model that developers, now, you know, this doesn't matter a lot to you and I, except that in the future, some of the products that are created will benefit us, but developers can basically use Deepseek's technology. They can use this AI and model and adopt it and make it their own, so they can derive their own cool things with it, right? And so it's a cool thing. You know, I'm not against the Microsoft model because certainly they had a big technological innovation there, but when it comes to sort of expanding the technologies and making it like have the broadest accessibility, open source is definitely a good thing there. So hopefully that'll help drive the learning and bring the costs down and all of that. So that's what I wanted to tell you about Deepseek. It's pretty revolutionary, and I think it's going to change the landscape for us and the products we use. Hopefully it'll be bringing costs down, and it'll also be increasing capabilities. So, hey, listen, if you got some value out of this and this was helpful, please give it a like. And if you're not a subscriber already to my channel, I'd love to have you on board. So please subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.